everyone, this is Lilly Mbinglo, your favorite CPA with the art, who is passionately committed to bringing you great information that could help you improve your personal finances, your business, and your nonprofit. Let's get into the video. Hi guys. One of the main questions I've had since I asked you guys to submit questions has been, should I start a nonprofit? Is a nonprofit right for me? Or, I'm not sure if this is the path for me. And I've decided to answer this by providing you with the pros and the cons of starting a nonprofit. So if you're thinking about it, I cannot make that decision for you. But I hope that this helps make that decision for you, so it gives you some kind of clarity. So when it comes to the pros of a nonprofit, the first thing is the tax exemption. So for the purposes of this, I'm going to be focused only on the 501c3 organizations for today, for the purposes of this. And so most of them are usually incorporated. So when you're tax exempt, one of the things that you don't have to pay is corporate income tax at both the state and the federal level. The second benefit of a nonprofit organization is that you can receive funding from different sources, public sources like public endowments, even private foundations. You can get grants, and individuals as well. Another advantage of a nonprofit is that it has perpetual existence, which means even if the founders were to die, or the original people that started it, it can keep going on, as if they have the right people that can ensure that it keeps running. So if you have a vision and you started it as a nonprofit, the beauty is it can run even past you, when you're no longer available. The next thing is the personal liability protection. So since most nonprofits are incorporated, that makes it a separate legal entity. So you cannot personally you cannot hold employees or board of directors personally liable for the debts of the organization, which is a good thing. So they get that kind of protection unless they personally went in and did something. But generally the nonprofit is a separate legal entity, so you have to sue that corporation. And then number 5, there are employee benefits as well. One of the good things about a nonprofit is that the principals or some of the officers could be employees. And what's great about that is you get to enjoy some of those corporate benefits that employees of corporations get, like group insurance and all of that. And then you also get a good commitment from employees, because a lot of people that work for nonprofits really do have a passion for it. And then the next thing is you get a lot of state exemptions and discounts, like postage, sales tax. There are a lot of those little discounts, even membership discounts to some gyms and stuff like that you get to enjoy as a nonprofit. So it's quite a bit. Now when it comes to cons, it takes time, takes money, and a lot of paperwork to get a nonprofit set up. And I have to say that because sometimes people think, it's a quick thing. No, it's not. And sometimes, your application could be rejected. It could even take time. And so before you start a nonprofit, not only does it take you time, but you have to prepare things like your articles of incorporation, your bylaws, the minutes of your first board meeting before you apply. And then even when you're done, you have to maintain all those things. And of course, you still have to file taxes. Let's keep that in mind. The second thing is that it has very limited purpose, and that's important to know, because when you start your nonprofit based on your mission, you can't just change it. If you decide to do something else, you'll probably pay tax on that, because that will be considered unrelated business activity, or even penalties. And you could even get to a point where the nonprofit is forced to dissolve because you decided to seek something else, and maybe the board didn't even agree. So that's a very important thing. Then of course there are a lot of restrictions when it comes to nonprofit organizations. You have several restrictions. Like a nonprofit cannot support 501c3. Listen to me again. Like I said, that's my focus. You cannot support, like political candidates. There's limitations of what you can give to directors. You cannot pay directors. You can compensate them for certain expenses. Your officers can get some kind of a compensation as well for their work, but there's a lot of restrictions as far as that. Another restriction that they have is when it comes to the dissolution of a nonprofit, you cannot take anything with you. You have to hand over everything you have left to another nonprofit or to the state. So they think about the fact that you didn't have to do anything to get most of the money was donated. Not that you didn't do anything, you wrote grants and all of that, but yeah, you cannot take it because it's not created for you. And then another thing is public scrutiny. I don't think people realize that most nonprofits need to have every piece of their information made public if requested. So if there's any nonprofit that you contribute to and you want to know what they're doing, you could literally go and ask for their tax or their financial records or their tax return and all of that. And so that puts them under a lot of scrutiny, because then people always have to see what they're doing. And even when they make the right decisions, because the public may not understand, sometimes they come under a lot of criticisms. And then, of course, the fifth one is work. It is work, a lot of work. So if you're going to a nonprofit thinking I'm just gonna play, no, it takes work, and every nonprofit founder can attest to that. However, don't let this fool you. I still love nonprofits. I think it's incredible that a few people decide to put in the time and the effort to benefit a lot of other people. And so if you're someone who has a heart to serve, if you have a heart to do something that is beyond you, it's something to think about. And what's so beautiful about a nonprofit is that first, you're going to give other people who want to support what you're doing, maybe not have the time. You give them the opportunity to partner with you financially, and then not only do you not have to pay taxes, but they don't have to pay taxes on that as well. And then you get to fulfill your purpose. You get to do something that is meaningful and give other people, like volunteers, a similar opportunity to do that.